You know, have you ever really stopped and thought about it? I mean, really considered that the entire shape of your life, your wins, your losses, even your destiny, what if it's not built by chance or circumstance? What if it's all built by something invisible? The power of your own thoughts. Welcome back to English from A to Z, English in Real Life. It is so good to have you here because today we are diving deep into that very idea. Think about it. If it's true, if our thoughts really do shape our reality, that means you've got way more power than you probably realize. So let's get into it. I mean, seriously, what if the secret to completely changing your life wasn't about luck or talent, but it was all about the invisible power of your thoughts? That's a huge question, right? Because if the answer is your thoughts, well, that changes everything. The whole idea we're going to unpack today is that your mind, it's not just a mirror reflecting the world around you. Nope. It's the actual blueprint that builds it. So to really get a handle on this, we're going to walk through 5 key steps. First, we'll look at your thoughts, your blueprint. Then we'll tackle breaking negative chains. After that, it's all about reprogramming your mind. From there, we'll connect it to the real world with from focus to action. And we'll wrap it all up with the life you create. All right, let's jump right in with part 1. Your thoughts, your blueprint. This is really the foundation of everything we're talking about today. The idea is simple. Everything we see, everything we experience out here in the physical world, it all starts as just a vision, an idea on the inside. So here's the blueprint principle in a nutshell. Your outside life is basically a mirror of your inner world. Think about it like this. An architect would never start building without a blueprint, right? Well, your thoughts are the blueprint for your reality. Every single thing. I mean, the phone or computer you're on right now, the goals you've smashed, it all started as a thought. But, and this is the important part, so did the doubts, the fears, and the failures. It works both ways. I love this analogy. Your mind is like fertile soil. It's totally neutral. It doesn't care what you plant. It'll grow whatever seeds you put in it. So if you're planting seeds of confidence, of possibility, of gratitude, you're going to harvest a life of growth. But if you're planting seeds of doubt, resentment, and fear, well, you're going to harvest a whole lot of struggle. The mind doesn't judge, it just grows. You're the gardener. And this isn't some new age idea, you know? The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius said it perfectly centuries ago. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. That is so powerful. It means our thoughts aren't just these fleeting little clouds passing by. No, they actually stain us. They color how we see the world, how we feel, and ultimately what we do. Okay, so we get it. Our thoughts are the blueprint. But what happens if the blueprint has flaws? What about the faulty wiring? That's what we're tackling next in part 2, breaking negative chains. Because let's be real, if our thoughts are this powerful, we have got to talk about the biggest roadblock for most of us, our own negative thinking. We're talking about those invisible chains, what we call limiting beliefs, and man, are they sneaky. They're those thoughts like, I'm not smart enough, or I'll never be able to do that. They whisper in your ear and disguise themselves as cold, hard reality. But here's the game-changing truth. That negative thinking, it's not you. It's not your identity. It's a habit. And you know what we can do with habits? We can break them. And look, there's actually a reason our brains do this. It's not your fault. We're literally wired with something called a negativity bias. It's an old survival tool from our caveman days that made us focus on problems, you know, the saber-toothed tiger in the bushes, instead of the pretty flowers. It's why one tiny criticism can sting more than 10 compliments. It's just our wiring. But here's the good news. Just knowing that, that's the first step to rewiring the whole system. So, how do we actually fight back against that inner critic? Well, there's a super practical 3-step process. Step 1, just notice the voice. That's it. Become aware when it pops up, no judgment. Step 2, question the truth. Ask yourself, hold on, is this thought really 100% true? Can I be absolutely certain? And step 3, reframe it. You're not trying to lie to yourself. You're just shifting the perspective. I failed becomes I learned. See the difference? And that leads us perfectly into section 3, reprogramming your mind. Okay, this is where we stop playing defense and we go on the offense. We're talking about actively writing brand new code for your mental operating system. You've probably seen the iceberg metaphor before, and it is perfect for this. That little tip of the iceberg sticking out of the water, that's your conscious mind. That's your awareness, what you're thinking about right now. But the real power, the massive, invisible part under the water, that's your subconscious. And believe me, it is quietly running the entire show, driving your habits, your emotions, your core beliefs. So how much of the show is it running? Get this, up to 95%. Just let that sink in for a second. That means the vast majority of your day, your reactions, your decisions, is guided by programs you don't even know are running. It's like when you drive home from work and you don't even remember the journey, right? That's autopilot. And here's the crucial part. Your subconscious mind is not a critical thinker. It accepts whatever you tell it over and over again, whether it's good for you or bad. So how do we get in there and consciously program that thing? Well, we've got 3 amazing tools for the job. First, affirmations. Think of these as software updates for your belief system. Next, visualization. This is huge. You mentally rehearse success because your brain literally can't tell the difference between a real memory and a vividly imagined one. And finally, environment design. This is just common sense. You can't expect to grow a beautiful garden if you plant it in toxic soil. You've got to surround yourself with positive influences. Okay, so we're reprogramming the mind, we're getting our inner world sorted. What's next? We have to channel all that new energy, which brings us to section 4, from focus to action. Because, and this is so important, positive thinking alone is just not enough. Here's another great way to think about it. The magnifying glass. If you just have scattered sunlight, it's nice, it lights things up. But if you take that same sunlight and focus it through a magnifying glass onto one single point, you can start a fire. Your thoughts are exactly like that sunlight. When they're scattered, they don't have much impact. But when you concentrate them, that's where the power is. Focus is the bridge that turns mental energy into actual real-world change. So that really begs the million-dollar question, doesn't it? You've got your reality right now over here, and then you've got this amazing dream life you can picture over there. So what's the bridge? How do you get from here to there? You build the bridge, and you build it with one thing: action. That's it. It's the absolutely essential link. A dream without action is, well, it's just a wish, isn't it? Your thoughts set the GPS. They give you the destination. But it's your actions, day in and day out, that actually move the car forward. And we're not talking about some massive, heroic leap here. Not at all. It's all about the compound effect. It's the small daily actions that build unstoppable momentum over time. The real secret is consistency over intensity. And I love this idea. Every single action you take is like casting a vote for the type of person you want to become. And eventually, those votes add up and create a new identity. And that right there brings us to our final and honestly the most empowering section of all, the life you create. This is it. This is where everything we've talked about, the thoughts, the beliefs, the focus, the action, it all comes together to forge an entirely new reality. And this might be the most important takeaway of our whole conversation. You don't become what you want. You become what you believe you are. It's not about just wanting a different life. It's about embodying that new identity at the deepest level of belief. The story you tell yourself about who you are, that is the ultimate engine driving your life. And you build that story one single thought at a time. And if you want a real-world example of this, look no further than Nelson Mandela. I mean, think about it.
Facing 27 years in prison, he had every reason in the world to choose bitterness and hate, but he didn't. He consciously chose to cultivate thoughts of forgiveness, of unity. His mind was free years and years before his body was. And that internal freedom, it didn't just change him, it reshaped an entire nation. It's the ultimate proof that no matter what your circumstances are, you always have control over your inner world.
So we'll leave you with this final thought to really chew on. Your life is a blank canvas. Your thoughts are the paintbrush. That makes you the artist. Every single day, every single thought is another brushstroke on that canvas. You hold the power. You get to choose the colors, design the whole image, and create the masterpiece that is your life. So the only real question left is, what masterpiece will you create?